Aloha and welcome to episode 3 of the Stacia Kennedy Show. In this episode, Eric Lofholm and I discuss how he went from burger flipper to $1 million sales earner, trainer, international author. I'm super excited to have him. If you want to generate more leads, book more appointments, make more sales and commissions, then you want to tune in now. All right, we're live. Welcome to the Stacia Kennedy Show. And I have a special guest for you guys. It's Tuesday, and I'm super excited to share with you my awesome coach and mentor and trainer, Eric Lofholm. He's an expert in sales and marketing. He's got 25 years in sales commissions and doing sales in commission-only business. Being trained professionally over 20 years, written over 14 books. He's trained over 10,000 people on some of the most profound sales ideas to help them increase their business. So if you want to learn how to generate more leads in sales and book more appointments and create the lifestyle freedom for yourself, then you definitely want to listen in to this interview. Welcome to the call or the webinar, Eric.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you so much. Today, I want to share with you, or introduce you to my guests, or you're my guest, but introduce you to my my people here, because I think a lot of people don't know that you went from burger flipper to $1 million sales earner. Tell us how you became so awesome.
Well, I did start off as a cook at McDonald's, and was in community college, which I decided wasn't for me. And I ended up going into commission sales to work for a multi-millionaire real estate investor. And I thought that I was going to become successful as a real estate investor. And what he offered me was a sales job. And I was the bottom producer at that company. And at the end of my first year, I was told if I didn't hit my quota, that I was going to be let go. And so I became interested in improving because I want to keep my job. So I met my first sales mentor, a gentleman named Dr. Donald Moyne. I received professional training for the first time in my life. And I ended up going from worst to first in 60 days of that company after being professionally trained in sales. And what I learned from that experience is that selling is a learned skill. And a lot of times, at least in my case, I just didn't know what to do. And once I was properly trained, I was like, oh, I can do this. And it was this whole mystery to me. And I have had the privilege of training thousands of people all over the world. And many of the people that I do train, it's that way for them. It's a mystery for them. And I demystify the process. And in other cases, I work with people that are already top producers and they want to go to their next level of success. So I get a lot of joy out of helping people demystify the sales process and help them increase their results.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you. I've been watching you for a long time, and you've mentored some of my millionaire success coaches as well. What do you think any roadblocks that you had to overcome during that time, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, well, the initial roadblock was just simply not knowing what to do. And then once I got trained, I decided to start my own business. And my first business was not successful. And their sales skills is one set of distinctions, and running a company is a completely different set of distinctions. So that company didn't work out. So that was a huge roadblock for me, a stumbling block. And then I ended up going into sales for Tony Robbins. And I worked for Tony for 3 years back in the late 1990s. And I became a top producer with his organization. I learned a tremendous amount from Tony. And then I started my own sales training company, and I've had my ups and downs like any entrepreneur. I've owned my own training company for the last 19 years. And so learning about having employees and learning about, we all have our 2008 story of the ups and downs of the economy, and now navigating social media integration into the sales process. Like what we're doing right now, we're communicating over social media and through our computers. And back when I first started, it was all face-to-face and over the phone. So I had to learn a whole different way of doing business. And so there's been a lot of of ups and downs as an entrepreneur, and anybody that is an entrepreneur knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it's also extremely rewarding. And now I've been able to build a successful global sales training organization. We have thousands of clients all over the world. And so it's great now, but, I had a lot of challenges along the way.
I was just going to ask you that. There's so many different things have happened since the early 90s and now, and with all the different tools out there. If you had to start all over again, where would you start?
There's certain things that I would have done quicker. More recently, I would have pivoted to social media integration, YouTube integration. I would have made that pivot much faster. And my mindset was, I'm an offline guy. I'm a sales coach. I meet with people. So, nowadays it's just normal. Hey, let's do a Zoom and let's stream it live on Facebook. It's like, no problem. But I used to have resistance to that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate with that. So I would have done that much faster. And one of the other mistakes that I had made, I didn't do a product line extension quick enough. So my first year in business, if you came to one of my seminars, at the end of the seminar, you had a great experience. You go, okay, Eric, what else do you have? What other trainings? And I go, well, that's it. You go, no, seriously, what else do you have? I go, no, I am serious. That's all I've got. And so it took me several years before I started putting advanced trainings in. And the reason why that's a significant business lesson is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. And so no matter what business you're in, if somebody buys from you once, if they have a good or great experience, they'll likely buy from you again and again and again if you have business systems to support that. And a lot of people are not thinking past the initial sale. And so if you can think past the initial sale and build relationship with people such that you have systems in place to get repeat business and referrals. And so it took me many years to learn that. And so I could have had a much greater success much faster. So those are a couple of lessons that I learned.
Awesome. In your book, which you guys could get for free at the staciakennedy.com/the system. So you have extra several books, but one of them is called The System, where you talk about the three steps, to your proven method. And you talk about the daily inner game and the outer game. What are those two things?
Yeah. So the three key systems that I teach to grow any business are lead generation, appointment setting, and lead conversion. So if you're watching this right now, if I was coaching you, I'd want to know, okay, how do you generate leads online and offline in a systematic way? And then the next step is, how do you book appointments with those leads in a systematic way? And then the next step is, when you're on those appointments, how do you convert those leads in a systematic way? So there are three standalone systems that integrate together. And then from there, there's another three, which is inner game, outer game, and action. And inner game deals with mindset, belief systems, comfort zone. So there's a mental side to sales. So if we strengthen your inner game, your mental side of lead generation, appointment setting, closing, referrals, selling, technology, whatever, if we strengthen that, you're going to see an increase in your results. The outer game is the how-tos. Every how-to technique can be learned. How to generate a lead, how to overcome an objection, how to close a sale, how to get a referral. And then action is the implementation of the ideas. And so I'm a big believer in dissecting down into smaller sections. So we take this big concept of sales, this big concept of social media integration, and then we break it into these smaller steps. And then we work on each step. Like a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And if we look at the chain as individual links and we strengthen each link in the chain, it makes the overall chain stronger. And so that's part of how I approach sales. And it's been very successful in helping people just improve their skills.
Awesome. I really love it, because I think that all the systems can be in place, or you can try, but if you don't have the daily inner game first and some of the other stuff that you talk about in the book, none of the other stuff really matters. I think it'd be more difficult.
Go to that website you gave out. You can get the book for free.
Yes.
You just go there, you put in your email, we'll instantly send you a PDF free copy of the book. I sold over 10,000 copies of the book. It has my system in there. It's absolutely fantastic. So, I encourage you guys to get that.
And today, like you said earlier, and you touched on, a lot of the tools that we have make it so much easier to create the lead generation, book appointments. I was watching one of your videos where you talked about how you have an easy way to have people book appointments using a scheduler, and sometimes it's more comfortable for people to start texting now. Are those some of the things that you can mention, or maybe other things that have made your lead generating easier for you?
Yeah, well, one thing I advise anybody to do is to get an online scheduling tool. So if somebody contacts you and wants to book an appointment with you, or you contact somebody, the bottom line is they want to book an appointment. Well, it's really convenient to send them a link where they can self-schedule. Because if you call somebody to book an appointment, you get their voicemail, and then they call you back and they get the voicemail, and you're going back and forth, and you guys are both wanting to connect, just send them a link. Now, I don't want to take out the human connection there, but I do. Like today, I had a gentleman who wants to book an appointment with me, and it's a sales call, and it's an opportunity for me to make a $3,000 sale, and I want to book the appointment. Send him the link, and he put himself on my calendar today. I didn't even talk to him. That's super cool. So online calendar link is a great thing to do. And back when I started in 1999, it was all about the cold call. And like I don't like cold calling. It takes a lot of courage. You got to be brave to make cold calls. It's so much easier to communicate with people electronically. You and I, when we communicate, we're usually direct message over Facebook. And I do most of my initial business communication. It's text, email, direct message over social media. I prefer Facebook over LinkedIn. Some people prefer LinkedIn. I'll still pick up the phone, but I like to do the phone call once we book the appointment. So that's my personal preference. And it's so much easier to do prospecting outreach today than back in the old days when I got started. It was all about the phone call.
So I know I heard you say earlier that you had some resistance. How are you able to overcome the knowledge or the resistance between adding in technology? Because I know a lot of people still have that resistance, even though most of us have kind of adapted. But I also noticed that you leverage other people's knowledge and hire the right people.
Yeah, when I was introduced to this online calendar link, right? So I just send you the link and then you book. I resisted it. I'm like, I don't want to do that because it's technology. When I was introduced to webinars, I don't want to do that. It's technology. And so I remember somebody contacting me one time for a great opportunity to do a webinar. This very first webinar I ever did. And they're like, yeah, we do it over a webinar. And I go, I don't want to do that. How about a conference call? And they said, if you want this particular opportunity, you have to do a webinar. So that forced me to do the webinar. But see, here's the thing. Nowadays, you don't have to know HTML, right? The programming language of writing a website. It's all so easy. If you can do email, like what you and I are doing right now, I don't even really know how this works, right? You send me a link. I put the link in. I did not tell my computer to turn on the camera. It just turned on. And I'm talking to my computer, and you're wherever you are, and I'm in Rockland, California, and somehow we're talking, and I have no idea how it works. But all I did was I just took the link, and then it works, and we're talking, and I guess we're on Facebook now too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, and I have no idea how any of this happened, but it's happening. There are people watching right now. So you don't have to be a technology person. Yeah, there's certainly a place for people that are super smart like that, but you don't have to do that. It's all so easy now. It's more to do with mindset. And I had a client one time, we were at an event, live event, and sometimes people want to take a photo with me and put up on social media because I'm the speaker. And so this woman came up to me, hey, Eric, can we do a photo? And I'm like, sure. And I handed her phone to my client, Alvin. I said, like, he's just there. Can you take a quick picture of us? And he looked at me and he goes, I don't do the iPhone thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Just click the button. And he was in this whole story in his head about resisting technology. And I taught him this affirmation that helped him break through it. And the affirmation is, I embrace technology. And it's all about a new story. We live in a story. And the story can serve us or the story cannot serve us. And so there's an opportunity to take an inventory about, well, what's your story? Change your story, change your life. And some people have a story about sales. I'm not good at closing. I'm not good at phone calls. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at webinars. I'm not good at blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, here's the question. Does the story serve you? Because if it doesn't serve you, create a new story. And there's a lot of ways I help people, but that's one of the ways, is just opening them up to the possibility of a new story so they can create the life that they want, because the opportunities are just enormous with technology to grow a business in this economy.
Definitely. So there's definitely, I want to move on to focusing. What do you think entrepreneurs should focus their efforts to generate more leads and sales?
Well, one thing to absolutely take a look at is prioritizing. And so if you don't prioritize and if you don't have a plan for your day is going to be run by social media, email, text, and fires that need to be put out. And so you can wake up every day and you can work hard, you can put in a full work day. It doesn't mean you're going to make a lot of progress towards your major goals. So it's really about taking a step back and going, what's going to move the needle for me? What are the things that I can do to really move my business forward faster? Time management is about time choices. And so it's really, the book title that we have all heard of is Think and Grow Rich, right? Well, to me, the big idea is the title, Think and Grow Rich, which has to do with taking a step back and really thinking about what are those moves that I'm going to make. That's why like webinars is such a no-brainer, because when you do a webinar, you can reach groups of people like what we're doing right now. Potentially we're going to reach 10 people, 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, tens of thousands. I mean, it depends on how many people are tuning in. But that's very different than you and I just having a one-on-one conversation because of the leverage. And so you start looking at where can you create leverage in your business. And this is what the super smart business owners figure out, is they have a better use of their time. We all obviously have the same amount of time on a daily basis, but how we choose to invest that time and prioritizing is just a simple thing. Anybody that's watching this can say, okay, I'm going to set an intention that I'm going to get better at prioritizing. To prioritize, you have to evaluate. So let's say you're an investor and you're looking at 5 different investments. Well, you're going to compare investment A to B, B to C, C to D. You're going to look at all of them, and then you're going to make the decision. Okay, I got this 100 grand to invest. Which is the best opportunity for me? Well, that comes from prioritizing. But what if you don't take the time to really think about that? Well, it's not 100 grand that we're talking about. We're talking about your time. So where am I going to invest my time today that's going to create the results that I want? I think too many people don't think about that. So that would be a huge takeaway for somebody, to really prioritize their day consistently. And it's just writing it down, setting intention, prioritizing.
What are some of the things you think people should focus on in that prioritization list, whether it be like setting a goal for the amount of calls, meetings, like what do you think they should focus on?
Well, I'll give you a mindset that a lot of people don't have. And it is to begin with the end in mind, which a lot of you have probably heard of from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's one of the habits, and it's just a common concept. Begin with the end in mind. Well, what's the end? Well, my concept is last productive day. Last productive day is the end. In other words, think about what is your projected last productive day on planet Earth. Well, most people never thought about that. I ask people all the time, how far out do you plan? And the answer in almost every case is 5 years or less. And one time I heard somebody was talking to Tony Robbins about, well, Tony, how far out do you goal set? And how far out do you plan? And he goes, I have my goals and my plans in decades. Well, that stuck with me. So my last productive day is September 12th, 2046, which is a little over 28 years from now. It's that precise. September 12th. Now, that assumes I'm going to be alive. That assumes that my health's going to hold up, that I can still be productive. And I'm not predicting my retirement date. I'm saying, I'm predicting I'm going to be productive for the next 28 years. Well, what that allows me to do now is reverse engineer my career, reverse engineer my net worth, reverse engineer what it is that I'm up to. That's why being on this webinar with you right now is worth my while, because when I do things like this, I'm planting seeds. Now, something might happen great today, but the fact that we're on here right now. But likely, it could happen, but it's more of a long-term play because somebody that's watching this may get connected to this and might become a client of mine for the next 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 20 years or more. And so I can make decisions about investing time into like what we're doing right now because I have a long-term view. But what if you don't have a long-term view? It's like, how do you goal set if you don't know where you're going? You know, a lot of people have never thought about that. So when you think about where you're going and you really get clear, I mean, for somebody in their 30s, if somebody's watching us right now and you're motivated and you're 30 years old or less, it is an absolute no-brainer for you to become a millionaire. I mean, it is so easy for you to become a millionaire with life insurance, retirement accounts like IRA or 401k, and real estate. If you just buy and hold, that's it. Just buy and hold. I mean, you can flip stuff if you want, but here's the dumb mistake I made. When I was in my 30s, I didn't understand buy and hold. So what I would do is I'd go buy an asset like a house. I had this awesome condo one time, and I cashed the thing out, and I ended up parlaying into $200,000 in cash, tax-free. And what did I do? I spent the money. And that condo right now is worth $375,000. It'd be cash flowing. I bought it for $128,000, and that property I'd own it free and clear in the future. I didn't understand buy and hold. So I'm going on a little rant here, but the bottom line is, if I looked out in the future when I was in my 30s and I was like, oh, just hold on to this property, that one property is going to be worth $500,000 in the future. $500,000. I owned the asset. It was sitting there, and I blew the money. So the point of all this is it really, to me, it's about being a long-term strategic planner. It's looking out into the future. This is your health. This is your relationships. This is your finances. You know, there's a concept called likely predictable future. So likely predictable future, you look at what you're eating right now and drinking and whatnot, and you go, what's the likely predictable future if I keep this up into my mid-70s? And maybe it's really awesome, or maybe it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a heart attack based on what I'm eating, right? Your finances, likely predictable future. Your relationship, likely predictable future. This is one thing that's a head scratcher for me. People that are, I'm going to go on a slow rant, I'm going to turn it back to you. People that are married, they cheat on their spouse. It's like, how freaking stupid can you be? What is your likely predictable future? You basically cemented you're going to get divorced and it's going to end ugly. I mean, it's just like, it's the idiot test, all right? So you look out into the future, you look at what you want to create, and then you go, okay, what do I need to do today? Because all we have right now is the present moment. That's all you have in life is the present moment. And so I've created a wonderful life for me and an even more exciting future because I just keep doing the next right thing in my life. So there's my little rant.
And this is something you help with people with as well, too, because I know you have a mid-year planning webinar coming up, right?
Yeah, the mid-year planning, it's such a no-brainer because, like, I'm all about planning. Well, if somebody's watching this and they're going, these are some pretty cool concepts, Eric. Can you coach me on how to do this? Yeah, it's called the mid-year planning class. 3-module class, and the price is $0. It's free. What's going to be for sale, Eric? Nothing. What are you talking about? It's a long-term play. I attract people to me by giving value that would normally cost money. So we give away this awesome planning class. There's nothing for sale. It's all 100% value add. And you can, anybody that's watching this, they can get with you and get the link to do it. We do a mid-year planning class. We do an annual planning class. So every year we have 2 classes where I coach you totally free on this style of thinking that it'll rock your world.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely took the beginning of the year, and it's just things that people don't think about. And it's really good to plan out your whole life, how you want to, even further than just 5 or 10 years. It's awesome.
I'll tell you one of the dumb mistakes I made. And I've had so many people tell me they made the same dumb mistake. So in my mid-30s, I had a 401k, and I had 15 grand in there. And my business hit some challenges like businesses do. And so I'm like, oh, how much can I get out of my 401k if I cash it out? It's like 40% penalty or something. So like, oh, you can get $8,000. So I'm like, all right, I'll take the 8 grand. Well, what I didn't understand is 15 grand in my mid-30s in a tax deferred situation, it would have gone 15 to 30,000, 30,000 to 60, 60 to 120. I think it would have gone one more. I think it was 240,000 in the future. It was at least 120 grand. Here's the bottom line. 8 grand today, or I do nothing and it turned into 120. Oh, I'll take the 8 grand. What? It was just stupid. But see, I wasn't thinking like how I'm talking to you. I didn't look out in the future. I didn't understand This is 120 grand if I don't put another dollar in there in the future. And that's the thing that these money decisions that we make when we're not thinking about where we want to get. It is so easy to become a millionaire. It is so, especially the younger you are, the easier it is because of the compounding aspects of money. And I didn't understand any of that. And so now, I'm passionate about, this is what I want to do. I want to teach people how to make more money so they can take some of the extra money and invest it and then become financially free, become a millionaire. Because here's what people tell me. They go, Eric, I'd love to invest, but I don't have the money. So I go, no problem. I will teach you how to make more money. Let's get your income up through sales, and then let's take some of that money and invest it, and then you become a millionaire. It's literally that simple. I mean, it's not hard. It's literally that simple. So I'm having a lot of fun right now helping people all over the world, giving them content that's been life-changing for me. It's totally helped me in my life. And, some of it's free. At some point there's an opportunity to hire me because, you can join my programs, but we just love on you in the beginning. We just give you all this great free information. We'll love on you once you're a client too, but we do all this no cost, no obligation as a value add. Then you do the training. Like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, I want to become a client. And that's how I've acquired thousands of clients all over the world through the years.
I love it. I love providing value. I just like being of service, and thank you so much for being here because I'm just so lucky that I had to surround myself with awesome people like you and then share it with all of my friends because I don't want to just keep it to myself. I want to share it with other people. You talked about some really great tips, and there is a process. Just, I think you've told me before, there's a process when you go to a restaurant, when you go in and you get seated by the host and they ask you for, what you want for appetizers and things like that. And at the end, there's the close before they give you the check and before they, maybe they might ask you if you're interested in dessert before they, provide you the end close to the check. So how important is the closing, and how can we, can you tell them a little bit about the webinar we're going to be doing on how to close this Thursday?
Yeah, like at a restaurant, the name of the game there, certainly the waiter wants to get a nice tip. The name of the game, though, is repeat business. You go to a restaurant, you love it, you go back again and again, and this is how successful restaurants get a line out the door, and they have a process to it. There's a process to the food, there's a process to serving food and so forth. Well, selling has a process to it. And so I am outstanding at teaching step-by-step how to close. You've asked me to come and do a webinar for your network. So we're going to be doing a webinar coming up here right around the corner. You guys are all invited, and guess what? The price is $0. It's totally free. I'm going to share with you incredible content that will help you become more effective in your closing. You'll have those skills for the rest of your life. So I want to personally invite you, come down, join the webinar. Love to have you there, and I'll pour into you even more. Like today was some content that's going to be specifically on closing. So you guys are going to absolutely love it. Tell your friends, come and enjoy it, and that can be another way that we can do some training together.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's I think this is just, it's one of the most important because I hear this a lot, and people tell me they give. They think they're giving all the time, but they're not closing, right? They're not asking.
This is unfortunately a pattern for some people. Now, I'm a giver too, but I'm a closer, okay? I'm going to close the business. And, I can help any of you that are watching this, whether you're a seasoned sales pro or you're just getting started, anywhere in between. But some people, they're so focused on serving, and they haven't linked it up in their brain that part of serving is enrolling, right? We got to close. We got to enroll so they can enjoy your products and your services. And so, come to the webinar, whether you're brand new, you're a seasoned veteran, anywhere in between. You're going to love it. The content's going to be off the hook. And I can't wait to see you guys there.
Thank you so much. The link will be below this video, guys. You can get Facebook Messenger reminders. Thanks again, Eric, for sharing with us. Can you also, before I close, tell them anything else or any closing thoughts or where they can get a hold of you if they want to get some personal coaching?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is they can just go to any of your links, and that'll get them on the email list. So, Stacia's got different ways that you can connect with me with the mid-year planning class and my book and this closing webinar and so forth. And so, all of those, when you opt in to get that great free content, and I'll put you on my email list. And that's the way that I can stay in contact with you guys. The last thing I'll share with you, your potential is extraordinary. All of you that are watching this right now, the fact that you're watching this, you're looking for ways to get better. And I've got some real answers to help you, and I want you to know you've got greatness inside of you, and you have potential beyond the results that you're currently producing.
Thank you so much, Eric. Again, I'd like you guys to check out staciakennedy.com as well. You'll get all the show notes and all the links that we talked about and tools. And thank you again. Much love and aloha. We'll see you on the next video.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.